Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Buckeyes of all ages, you're now tuning into episode 2 of the Boomcast. Introducing your host, we have NFL vet, Buckeye legend, Daniel Boom Herron. Accompanying him is the Boom Squad. To his right, we have former coal miner, pro in the fitness industry, Mr. Corey Gregory.
What up?
Then over here at the Tyler Sports Zone, we have Mr. Tyler Treadway, Mr. Tyler T. Over. Here's the doghouse. I'm the graphic gangster Cole Susak. Tim Wright is the king of Web3, Trayvon the Air. And today, we got special guest, DeVier Posey. The Boomcast is brought to you by Maximum Muscle Pre-Extreme and Sam Adams Beer. Yeah. Let's go to the show.
Thank you, Cole. All right, so first off, we got to hit you with some stats right quick. This man over here to the left.
We always got to start it off with the stats.
Yeah, you know, we got All-American out of high school from Cincinnati, LaSalle. Dog. We got Ohio State wideout from 2008 to 2011.
Dog.
Third round draft pick of the Houston Texans. Dog. Motherfucking Grey Cup champion 2017.
Dog.
And Grey Cup MVP in 2017.
Dog.
DeVier Posey in the house. Let's go.
Man, you guys are too kind, man. Thank you, man. Hell yeah, I appreciate that.
Hey, man, I ain't seen you in a little while, but
Hey,
I got to tell you something. When he walks in, what did he say? What did you say to me when you walk in?
He's the best looking dude I've ever seen.
I did hear
I said, man.
I heard him say it. I
was laughing. I was like, this motherfucker.
I'm a strong heterosexual man. 3 kids.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Corey, he's a good looking dude.
I appreciate the love, DeVier.
I mean, he worked hard.
We done. Hey,
you know, I want to look like that when I'm 38.
Hey, 40, about to be 45. We trying to keep it together.
I gave you some years, bro.
Hey, you know? All right. So, happy birthday, by the way.
Appreciate you. Thank
33,
you,
man.
33,
Acting
man.
right. Just out here getting it.
It's my Jesus year. So I got to act like Jesus, man.
Respect.
Well, I think Boom's going to lead us down the process of that.
Yeah, bro.
Well, welcome, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
I mean, we've done it all together.
Hell yeah.
We've been through some good, we've been through some bad, but we on top right now. So and we got to keep rising. But I'm happy to have you here. Come on the show, man. You know, kind of just give the people your story, your background, just to get to know you a little bit better and just learn about you, man. So we're gonna kick it off, man. You know, obviously I know you. And a lot of people want to get to know you better, you know what I'm saying? So just kind of talk about, growing up in Cincinnati, how was it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, and we all know you went to LaSalle, had a great, football career in high school there. Just kind of talk about that.
Yeah, well, so I was actually born in Redwood City, California, and what was significant about that's where my dad was from. And then obviously my mom and dad split, and we moved to Ohio when I was around 5. And that's where my mom is from. She's from Cincinnati. She was Air Force vet. Shout out our military services. My mom served her time there. We always celebrate on Veterans Day, but that's how she ended up in Cali. And so when we moved to Ohio, it was just something that, it was different for us. My older brothers and sisters, I'm the youngest of 4. I got a brother that played at OU, a sister. She was a track star, cheerleader. She cheerleaded for North College Hill, those teams with like O.J. Mayo and those state championships they had back in the day. And then my oldest brother, he was a film guy. He went to school for he went to Syracuse for film. And so we all kind of like, grew up, had our own paths. And me and my brother, when we got to Cincinnati, we were just like wild and rambunctious. Our aunts was like, nobody ever wanted to watch us because we were like too crazy. We were like tear the house up and shit. And so my uncle, I had 2 uncles that played sports at Michigan. My mom's oldest brother played at Michigan, played football. He was on one of those Michigan teams that tied Archie 13-13. And then my other uncle played baseball at Michigan. And so it was the early 90s when we moved. And so the uncle who played at Michigan football, he was living in Cali. And then the other uncle that played baseball, he was still living in my grandmother's house. And so he was still kind of like training, going through like mental issues. And this is like my uncle that had like, bad drug habits and stuff like that. But it was my first time really seeing somebody like still attached to a sport. I mean, as an adult, that's how I interpret it now. Obviously, I didn't know when I was a kid, but he was still attached to like training every day and like staying in shape.
He still had the habits.
He still had the habits. And so like he would like run in my grandma's basement like for 3 hours at a time. Like she had like a long ass like ranch house that my grandfather built, on North Bend Road. And where we lived, it was like 1.5 miles from St. Xavier High School. That's where my uncles went and my oldest brother. And then and like the other side was LaSalle, but it's on North Bend Road, so it's the same street in Cincinnati. And so we grew up, going to those LaSalle, St. X games. They're called King of the Road games. Oh yeah, almost cool. Like Warren and Massillon. It's a big rivalry down there. So we just kind of grew up around sports. But my uncle, he would train, and me and my brother would just come home from school and just like, what are we doing today? Like just. He was like, all right, I got
what
you.
What age was that?
I was like five or six,
early.
5 or 7, and then my brother was like 7 or 8, and like we would just train with him, like, and he would take us across the street, and he would hit balls in the in the baseball field, and he was like, you guys just field the balls and stuff like that, and we would just be out there like fucking catching them with no gloves and shit, and he would just be like what the fuck? Like it kind of like we were just like natural, and he was just like, so he started training us, and he told my mom, and this is like our crazy Uncle Billy, but I love him, because he would tell my mom like they're athletic as hell, like and
like he's seeing something.
Yeah, he could see it, like, and then like he kind of got serious and was like, yo, these guys need to play sports, and so he put us in baseball. And that's where we first started, and then obviously like football after that, and so my mom's other brother, he lived in Atlanta at the time, and he came back, and he was just like, and I can remember like it's yesterday, like he straight up told me, looked me in the face like, you a pro, and I was like,
somebody speaks that into you, like,
you know what I mean,
bro.
like yeah. He was like, yo, you a pro, and so we just that's what we did after school, and just growing up in Cincy, man, it's like football, basketball, like 3-sport town. We played in the CYO leagues, the Catholic Youth Sports Organizational leagues. My grandma was real big on, going to Catholic church and saying your prayers and going to church twice a week and, standing up, in church. And it's kind of crazy. Like I was an altar boy growing up.
Same.
Yeah. It just because
I already know. I've been in this.
Hey. You had no choice, Boom.
Hey, I had no choice. So
Boom ain't had no choice. Yeah, me and Boom share that connection with the church. Like we always been in church our whole life, and so that was real big for us. Faith, education, and then just like when it came to football, like I just had this like natural love for it. Like I used to love to like get to the field early, because when you're on the younger teams, the younger park teams, you get to play. You're there all day because, I'm on the youngest team, my brother's on the middle team, and my sister cheerleads on the last team. So, I would put my pads in my pants in kindergarten, like put my helmet on there, put on a bike, and I'll be up. Like I wanted to get there when they were like lining the field and stuff like that. Like I don't know why, I just loved the whole
process,
like, the fucking barbecue, the popcorn, like just the grass, like, and so like shit, football had me from the start.
Young, bro.
Yeah, it had me from the start. Like, and I and then obviously I played basketball, AAU, and got some hoop game. And so yeah, I mean, but growing up in Cincy, it's just a town where I don't know, it's nestled right up there next to Kentucky. It's sort of like. We didn't get Ohio State games like on our CBSs as much. We would get SEC games, and so I didn't really like have a emphatic love for Ohio State growing up.
You had a tie to Michigan.
I had a tie to
and
Michigan.
Didn't even watch Ohio State a whole bunch. That's crazy.
Yeah, like, I mean, growing up, I knew the Michigan Fight song. Like I liked Charles Woodson, and it was just kind of crazy. Like my whole house was like a Michigan house until I committed to Ohio State.
Though, that we're finding out, right?
That's so crazy because we talk about that, and I was same situation. I had family members that went to Michigan, and then we just had a pipeline of guys from my high school that just kept on going to Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just crazy how all that happens, and then we still end up at Ohio State.
But that's what like, and I love Ryan Day, but that's my only like. If I had like any like feedback for him, you know, that's what it would be. It's like.
He probably watches the show, so
Right, yeah, he does.
Yeah, shout out, Ryan. What up?
Shout out, Coach.
What up, Coach Day?
What up, guys? I got you. Hey, we're about to let you know real quick.
Nah, but that's my only feedback. And I think, and to be honest, I think with this year's recruiting class, he did a good job.
Get more Ohio guys.
And that's an issue because it's like you can play the 5-star Alabama, you know, All-American game all you want, but like Boom said, like I said, like it hits home, that Michigan game. Like I got to go see those people at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like I played against high school against guys from Dayton that played at Michigan, like Rory Roundtree and you know, and Brandon Graham, you know, people like that. And I'm sorry, not Brandon Graham, Brandon Moore, and you know, and Mike Shaw, and being able to like when I go home, I got to see these dudes. You know what I mean? So it's like
That's the first thing they say.
you know what I mean? It means something to fucking be Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to like you want those bragging rights, and so I think when you recruit national guys, those guys after Michigan, they're going to Seattle. They don't got to see.
They're going to
California. They're going to Texas. They're going to Florida.
Spoke on that.
Yeah.
I kind of spoke on that. I'm like, you think about C.J. Stroud's situation. You know, he's from California.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's going back to California. He don't got
gotta
to walk
run
around with that. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't at the convenience store.
Yeah,
so
you
they're
know
like,
what I'm
yo,
Y'all lost to Michigan.
losing
Right,
by 20.
right.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. You ain't never beat him. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
different.
So
Yeah.
it's that's real. What you
It hit home, man. It hit home. So
Yeah.
for me, growing up in that environment, like I've always loved football. Cincy high school football, I think it's up there in Ohio. I think some of the best football in Ohio is Northeast Ohio and Southwest Ohio for sure. Like nothing against Toledo, Columbus area, but just look at the guys in
the
those
history
Yeah,
of high school teams.
Definitely, like
Yeah.
if you think about when we was coming up, you know, you never really, like I said, no knock on the Columbus area or whatever, whatnot, but you never really heard of any really popular schools in Columbus. At the time, it was you had all the schools, like you said, Northeast Ohio, and then you had Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You know, Cincinnati, like when I was coming up, we didn't play them, but like my brother and Reese and all them, they was playing like Cincinnati Moeller, Cincinnati Elder, like those was like powerhouses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was our
But
league.
even like I was telling somebody like Saint X, like we didn't really hear about them when I was a high school or younger, but now they're like more they popping now. You know what I'm saying?
I think all the way up to, and I mean you guys can check the stats. I don't know who's the stat checker here, but I think up until Pickerington won that state championship in football, only state champs have come from Northeast Ohio and Southwest Ohio.
that.
Yeah, and I'm almost like positive on that. So I mean, like the stats back up what we're saying.
Danny, was
too.
you on that team?
Yeah.
Pickerington that won it? Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But let me get to the next question, man. I mean, obviously you pick Ohio State, but obviously you were All-American coming out of high school, highly rated. You know what I'm saying? Top of the top. Kind of just take us through your recruiting process. Like, was it always Ohio State? Did you almost commit somewhere else, or did you commit somewhere else? You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of talk us through that.
Oh man, it's kind of crazy. People don't believe me, but I didn't play varsity till my junior year.
What?
I didn't play varsity. I didn't play varsity football until my junior year. So coming into high school, I was a quarterback, and like they moved me from quarterback to wide receiver. So I was pissed. I was like, halfway through freshman football, I quit. So I was on the freshman team. I quit because I was like, I'm a hooper. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Like I'm hooping. And so they got me to come back out. A guy named Brian Hyadorn, I'm still close with him today. He still teaches at LaSalle. I credit him a lot for, really just pouring into me at a young age and really like showing me my true potential. But me and him had a conversation, and he was just like, listen, like you don't want to ever just quit something you start. So we didn't. So I finished that year. Freshman year I played JV basketball. Sophomore year I started point guard varsity. So I'm thinking, this is what I'm doing. Yeah. I ran track a little bit sophomore year. So like all the other sports I played varsity before. And then like my sophomore year football coach was like, we're going to need some receivers. I really didn't work hard that summer. I really didn't get better at all. Like I still was dropping the ball, and I remember like every Friday night, like I'm watching. Like we were 8-2, and I'm watching these games, and I'm like, fuck, I could make a difference, you know. But I didn't have a good training camp or anything like that. I wasn't going to weightlifting. I was playing basketball. So that summer after sophomore year, I had a hernia, and I got hernia surgery, and then like I went on the AAU basketball circuit, and it like immediately reflected, and like you understand, like I was playing sports with no core activation because like I'm like protecting this hernia. And so it was inguinal. And so like once I got that hernia surgery, like probably like 3 weeks after the surgery, I walked in the gym. I really wasn't supposed to be in there. And like I just like jumped and grabbed the rim, and I was like, whoa, like that shit was like way easier.
Yeah.
Because I finally have my core.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that summer from sophomore year to junior year, like I just exploded
Your
AAU
explosiveness
basketball.
was probably just
It just turned up like everything. Like I could finally feel the weightlifting translate. And so that summer, like, man, I grabbed like basketball offers from like Akron, Oakland University in Detroit, Clemson, South Carolina. And so I was like, yo, like, this is great. Like, I mean, basketball offers came first. And then that junior year, like we had a guy, Ben Martin. He played at Tennessee. He was in Boom's class. He's like one of the better, football players. So all these colleges are coming to see him. But like I just, I'm finally on varsity. I'm exploding. I returning kicks.
you just felt different, didn't you?
I just felt different on the field. Like it was my first time translating. So 9 games later, Ohio State knocking at the door. In December. And I'm like, hey, it's kind of crazy when Trussell shows up and it's like, And so, but after my junior year, before that, crazy story. Like nobody knew about me. And so even though I was all state, like it was just like who is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, and so my brother, he was in film school. Like I mentioned, he had a friend that was, he had a studio downtown. I grabbed all my DVDs. DVDs. I went, I had all the games. I went to the studio. We cut everything up. We put some music over it. I'm sitting there putting like, oh, I want this highlight, that highlight. Next day I go to Staples. I get 50 manila envelopes. So I get on Google. I look up recruiting coordinators, address, email. I send out 50 letters. I type up 50 letters, print them out at my mom's desk. Me and her doing this, print them out. And I'm just like,
I love this.
Hey, hold on.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But these kids these days don't understand the process that you're talking about right now. Because all they got to do is post something on social media or
JJ
you know what I'm saying?
Huddle or whatever the
like
huddle.
10
Or
years
Rivals
of
or whatever.
professional football, and you had to grind 50
Come on,
manila
man.
envelopes like that.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Some
yeah.
kids, like, that's amazing. They
Yeah.
need to hear this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
100%.
I love this, man.
Yeah.
And so
It's good.
I sent them out, and it's so crazy. Greg Gillum, he called me. He was like, I saw your tape. And like me and Coach Gillum always laugh about this, but Gillum walked my tape down the Tress, and Hazel was like, check this guy out. He's playing in the GCL, and they know about the GCL, and they were like, why don't we know about this kid? Blah, blah, blah. So that happened. And then when Ohio State came in, it was like, they were like, you're not leaving Ohio. You know what I mean? Hazel was like, you're not leaving Ohio. And then I was like, all right, cool. So I ended up committing my junior year, like March of my junior year, right around my birthday. And then, but I still had this I was still bothered by like the rivals and scout rankings that I wasn't considered one of the guys. So like I wanted to go to those camps, those Nike camps and all that. And so Hazel was like, why are you going to these camps? You're already committed. He didn't want me to go.
He didn't want anybody else to see.
He didn't want anybody else to see me. But I'm like, nah, coach, like, he's like, don't worry about the rankings. I was like, all right. So I went to, I drove to New Jersey with my mom. We went to the Nike camp, and like the McCourty brothers were there. Like they were like there being like camp hosts because they were still at Rutgers, and Corey like, I'm about to kill these dudes.
Well, plus you want to see how you match up.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're seeing these dudes like, what do I really look like
I'm
against
about
these
to
cats?
kill these dudes. So I just went out there. I just would go to camps just for the ones.
Yep.
Like just to get ranked higher.
And you want to be known.
Yeah. I want to be known. Yeah.
And another thing, would you tell kids out there that's watching this now, like, take your visits?
I would say take your visits because I didn't take my visits, and but I committed junior year.
I did the same thing.
But I would, if I could do something different, I would have took my visits, but still went to Ohio State.
Yeah,
just
for sure.
Just because
Experience, man.
experience.
You got to have that experience. And
Yeah.
a lot of coaches, a lot of teams, like once you commit, they don't want you taking visits. They don't want you, you know what I'm saying, going to see other colleges
Just
and
like
stuff like
Beanie,
that.
he's sitting in Malibu thinking, I'm about to come to USC.
Right.
His mom like, get your ass home.
Get home.
And I mean, I can understand it because, with everything that's going on now, I mean, you got the NIL stuff going on. And it's like, a lot of kids come from backgrounds where most kids ain't got a lot.
Yeah.
You start putting all this stuff in front of their face, you know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
coming
It's
out the trailer, you could have swayed me real
yeah,
easy.
maybe
If
should
NIL was different,
should I go to, you know what I'm saying, whatever other
Yeah.
school, so that's
And that's my story, man. And I committed, and boom, no, I was.
Talk about the meeting with Tress at your house.
At my
when
house?
he comes to see you and your mom.
It's hard when the sweater vests come in, when the sweater vests come in, yo.
I think I brought this up last week, but it's just like
You wore a sweater vest?
it's
I think so, yeah.
He probably has like 10 of them that's all the same color.
Yeah,
it's something about Tress, bro. Like, we know Tress, like, and we know he cool and everything, but it's something about even right now.
Yeah.
If Tress comes around, I get nervous.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Because he's about it, that's why.
Because it's like
We gotta
I
have
get
one.
uncomfortable. Like, which is, I know everything is good, you know what I'm saying? But it's like Tress
You know
really
why?
has
Because you
that.
got to have everything buttoned up with him. That's the thing. 'Cause I felt like that around him too.
He has a gift, like he has a gift where he's a special human. Like
For sure.
don't get me wrong, like X's and O's, football, and
Yeah.
recruiting, but like I think his gift in
it's
life,
the off the field stuff, man.
yeah,
Like,
it's his discernment and like his empathy for people. Like he can like get to know you so well, and then like his number one thing, he doesn't forget
nothing.
about, but it's about people. Like
Yeah.
it's like he understands people and he never forgets details about people. And even on the cruise last week, I'm sitting next to Tress and Ellen whispered something like, "Hey Tress, like remember this name, blah blah blah," and he was like, "Got you." And I'm like, and I like whispered to Ellen, I was like, "You probably do that all the time. Just tell him to remember." She was like, he has a lockbox up there when it comes to just people. Like he would come, like you would come in, boom, he would be like, "How's David? And how's how's your sister? And how's Pastor Herron's church? He starts at 11:30 every Sunday, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like he remembers
And that's
stuff
how
like
you tell
that.
people you care, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I try to
For
get
sure.
better at that because that attention to detail is so impressive
Yeah.
because he's really present when you're around him.
Yes.
That's why he's so good
Yes.
at that.
Yeah.
That's the thing I picked up on early when I was around him when I was with Reese a bunch. You picked up that he's there.
Yeah.
He's not distracted at
No,
all.
he's locked in.
And so as a coach, that had to be amazing for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Like
But that was crazy.
When you with him, it's like all attention. Like, even if your phone ring or anything, you ain't
answering.
thinking about none of that because you so locked in. Because
Yeah.
it's like you don't want to miss something. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He's really like greatness. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
definitely that guy. Shout out to Coach Tress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And when he came in, he complimented my mom's chicken and fried chicken. And then it was like, Grandma was like, "All right, I like this guy." That's all he had to do. But man, he was just. It's when you get around him, and obviously, like Ray, like I always think about this Ray Small comment. Like when we played USC, Ray was on USC's bulletin board because he was like, "I got recruited to USC, and Pete Carroll just want to make NFL players, but Tress is more about making you a better man." And like they took it negatively, but like it's so true. Like he's all about what can you become after, like how can you use football, like his whole block of life thing that we would do every morning, moments of silence, taking time,
Quiet time, yeah.
like look at quotes, Bible verses, manifest, what you want for the day, like having like a topic for the day. And like we didn't know at the time, but now like I implement that to my daily life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We
Like,
definitely use it now because it's like we'd be in there. It's like, man, why we gotta go to quiet time, bro? Like, why we gotta write? Why we gotta write these letters to the people that you know what I'm saying, doing all this stuff for us?
I forgot about the letters. We would write letters every
We
year.
had to write letters.
Yeah.
So Trace used to make us write letters
At the
to
start of training camp.
anybody who paid for our scholarships. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then like our former coaches, our
our former
family
coaches,
members.
yep.
You
Because
know.
he knows how important
It was just so many like small detailed things. That
This was
you'd
like
be
every day.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you
We
would have
had
to write
quiet
to
time
somebody
every morning.
every day.
He
Yeah.
still tweets about that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
But
It's
like
dope.
now it's like, as being an adult and
I take
even
quiet
being
time.
like a parent now,
Yeah.
it's like you use so many tools that he taught us, man, and that's why that's my guy, man.
You almost feel like y'all don't want to let him down,
oh,
right?
Well, for
Almost
sure.
like a parent.
so
For
so
sure.
I,
That's how I feel when you guys are talking
sure.
about him.
so I think that's why every time when you see him or get around, it's like, all right, I gotta be on top. like he gonna ask me about such and such. I want to make sure it's the right answer,
Yeah.
so that he's proud. Like,
Yep.
That's cool.
yeah. So
That's a hard thing to do. It has to be so authentic and real, and that's why it impacted you guys so much. It's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
most
yeah,
definitely,
awesome dude,
most
man.
definitely.
Awesome dude.
So obviously you covered your time in high school. Let's transition to your time at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, we had some ups,
Yeah.
we had some downs, we had some
Yeah.
bumps. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we did our thing.
Yeah.
And nobody can take that away from us. And kind of just talk about your time at Ohio State. You can hit on the good, the bad, whatever.
Yeah. I think our time at Ohio State was it was a special time just for college sports, and even Ohio State as a university. I mean, obviously, I remember when I got to school, Nike was a shoe company becoming a clothes company, and Under Armour was a clothes company becoming a shoe company, and also like ESPN had just grabbed the Big Ten contract, and then obviously the Big Ten network started when we were in school. So like the visibility to Ohio State was increasing, like Nike's marketability with Ohio State was increasing, and even during that time organically Twitter gets started our sophomore year, Instagram gets started our junior year.
That's right.
So like we were there like right at the social equity
peak of
visibility
social-
boom,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like for the first part of our career, first 2 years, we could kind of do what we wanted and not have, camera phones or people worried about you or things like
Were you
that.
allowed to have accounts and stuff when it first started?
Say it again.
Were you allowed to have your own accounts and stuff? 'Cause
Bank
I can't-
account?
Yeah, no.
Okay, yeah.
We talk about USC now.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I remember they made us get
Twitter
bank
accounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Twitter, social
was-
media. Because at first I thought they really didn't want the players.
No, they didn't even know anything about
Okay,
it.
got it,
They
got it.
didn't understand. Like, you couldn't get in trouble for anything on Twitter. Like, it was, Instagram was only for iPhone users. Like, we had Blackberries.
Oh, okay.
So when I got an iPhone, I was like, oh, I'm gonna download this Instagram. And like
about
my wife, who's my girlfriend back then, she told me about Instagram. Like, oh, we just take pictures and nothing like that. It's like, all right, cool. It was weird. Like nobody was monetizing it,
Yeah.
And so but my point was saying like what was happening is that I believe we were like right at the curve where Ohio State was starting to really take their marketability up. I mean, we were on the first team to wear the throwback uniforms. Ohio State had never changed their tradition of like
true.
any uniforms while we were there. So I think our time was an awesome time. I love the guys I got to play with. Obviously, like when we came in, we had like dog ass vets like Hartline, Laurinaitis, Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
Beanie, Brian Rabisky,
Killers,
Kurt Coleman,
You say James?
James Laurinaitis, Jake Ballard, Super Bowl champ.
Yeah.
Like we had an awesome locker room to the point where it was like when I got there, I was like, I want to be on the field with these guys. Like I want to play with these guys. And Boom, Trust made Boom my big brother. But he was littler than me. I ought to beat Boom up.
There you go,
He was
man.
like, it did like he sounds joking, but like that's how me and Boom got close.
That's
and
cool.
And we just would always just connect and like end up becoming best friends, and around that time it was just like it was something where when you walked in the locker room, you had like mutual respect for your teammates. Like you didn't want to let them down. Like you weren't gonna come in there dressed with no bull crap, because if you walk past, Lawrence Wood locker, you're like, bro, what the hell are you wearing, bro? Like, ripping, joning on people was crazy, and so we just had this thing, and I know for me, from a training perspective, like I had just came off like a state championship with track, so I was like, I just feel like, I'm in shape, like I'm trying to win every sprint, you know what I mean? Like I can't compete with these guys in the weight room. I'm a longer frame guy, so I'm like, I'm trying to win everything. And so I remember that first summer, I was trying to earn their respect through our running. And I think, like Larry had pulled me to the side and was like, yo, like whatever you're doing, like keep doing it, because Heartline doesn't really like freshmen or something like that. He's like, but, Heartline thinks a lot of you. And I thought Heartline like hated me, because he would always like, hey, don't move your foot like that, or don't hop on your release, and like he would say shit, and I would just be like, damn, man, this dude hating on me. But I didn't know, like, obviously that he saw something in me, and he wanted to coach me up, and so it was kind of cool. I mean, me and him got close, and shit, I'm talking about one of the best high school recruiters, wide receiver, like demon ass coach that's just beasting right now, like beast. You know what I mean?
He's
like
such a nice guy too, bro.
You know what I'm? And it was like I had that guy in the film room with me, like, yo, this is how you get better. You know what I mean? So I was super blessed. And obviously Robo, a lot of people don't know about Robisky. His dad was a coach for like 30 years. Yeah. Like he's a coach's kid. Like he does everything right, but he's a quiet dude. Like but
he's not real loud.
He's he gets forgotten about when you talk about like receivers that go to Ohio State, but I always try to mention Robo, because like I looked up to Robo as far as the way he played, the way he carried himself, the way he could speak in meetings and things like that. He was a great leader, and for me, he like to have him and Heartline in a room my freshman year. Really,
that football IQ in the room.
It really set me up, bro. It really did, man. Like it was awesome, man. So that's how my freshman year went, and I really didn't play much. I got to play in the Fiesta Bowl. Funny story there. Heartline missed curfew, and I got to start.
Tag his ass.
Heartline, remember that?
I like that one right there. That's going to hit Twitter. What up, Brian?
Hey.
That's perfect.
Hey, that Princess boy. That Princess Hotel. Them AZ streaks is dangerous.
Hey. So I got to start, and then the Heartline was like, all right, yo, get your ass out. 'Cause I had like 3 catches in the first quarter. He was like, all right, bro, like sit down. Like,
that's hilarious.
But it's funny because we was talking about this the other day, but that was kind of like our coming out party, because he got to play some, and then Beanie had got hurt. And I had scored in that game, like towards, I had thought I had scored the winning touchdown. Yeah. But then they ended up
Cosby.
Yeah.
That was
it was like less than 2 minutes left.
Tim got to stop, man. It was a horrible spot on a fourth down.
Yeah.
Shipley.
But yeah, man, that was like the time where we you know how like when you kind of find out like, okay, I could do this, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
When you actually believe you're supposed to be there, meant to be there, because at first you're like not sure, right?
Yeah. Because at the same time, it was such a big stage. You look at that team that we played against, and some of the guys that they had on their team. I mean,
it was crazy. Earl Thomas,
so
Colt McCoy, Sergio Kendall, fucking Lamar Houston played in Chicago for years. Quan Cosby, Shipley. And Chucky Brown, Curtis Brown.
There's a gang of pros all over the field.
Oh
man, that Texas team was
you start
crazy.
Making plays against that. It's like our confidence was just building. Man.
They went to the national championship that next year. Yeah, that team was awesome. And then after that, we all started sophomore year. And so going into sophomore year, that spring was huge, and that off season was big for us to really just come into our own. And I mean think about it, like my plan was to, like, I didn't pick Ohio State because I wanted to come in and play as a freshman. Like I picked Ohio State because of Heartline and Robisky and Ray Small and guys like Boom and Beanie. I'm like, man, I want to be around some OGs, learn. I know these dudes are going to the league next year, and then I can start as a sophomore. And that's sort of how, you kind of pick schools, like, so that was big. So then sophomore year, we had that season we had. I think we lost 2 that year. And then we went to the Rose Bowl, and it was the first bowl win. And, like, because we lost to Texas, LSU, Florida. So it was the first bowl win for that junior and senior class.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
What's
so
a Rose
huge.
Bowl feel like, man?
Rose
Because, like,
Bowl
I've never
dope.
been, but it's
You got to go.
yeah, it looks beautiful. So
it's-
does it feel like
It's a bucket. So here's the thing with the Rose Bowl, Corey.
yeah?
It's the oldest bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when you look at bowl game
You got
models.
the pageantry, you got all that around it, man.
Yeah.
Well, every other bowl game was built off of that model, like
Got
the
it.
week building up the lorries, the teams getting together. Every other bowl game is built off of the Rose Bowl. So it's when they say granddaddy, it's literally the fucking oldest bowl game. It's the granddaddy.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ball. Yeah, that clip is like just synonymous with
Yeah.
But then it's like another thing. It's like, obviously when you're visiting Ohio State, you walking through the hallways and then you seeing like Archie Griffin and all those guys with roses. You know what I'm saying? They play. It's like then you actually have the opportunity to play in that game.
Yeah.
It's like
It's crazy.
unreal, bro.
Yeah,
it's
and then just that experience and just being out in Cali, just crazy.
It's dope. It's a day game, first half, night game, second half.
Hey,
Oh, because the way they time it.
The way they fucking every year is like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Here, I got a question. So you talk about, like, you had Hartline and Rubisky,
Yeah.
look like they're taking you underneath their wing. So I'm curious, like, later on, like, your junior and, like, senior year, who was, like, the guys that you took under, like, your wing?
Yeah, just because it's natural progression. Guys I had were, and like me, Boom, and my roommate, 18 Sabino, like, for some reason, Tress always made us host people. Like, we had people every weekend, right? Like, we had, like, I'm hosting Braxton, Carlos Hyde, Spencer Ware, Taj Boyd, fucking Marlon Brown, Corey Brown, Devin Smith, Mike Thomas. Like, we're a part of the process of, like, bringing these guys in. And then, honestly,
you
that's
gotta show them a good time.
yeah, that's why we also
I was
got
gonna say, you guys thought y'all was showing them a good time, but not too good of a time.
but boom, it would be like, hey, yo, who you got this weekend? Oh, I got it. What he want to do? All right,
You
cool, let's
already
link
know.
up. Yeah, like, so it would be like we would get together. We would take them out to eat. You know what I mean? And we were real hosts. You know what I mean? We can't get in trouble for this, but like they would give us money to host them.
Yeah.
Man, here you go, bro. Like, take this little 200. You know what I mean? Like, shit, do what you want. Like, you want to play video games, you want to go out, whatever. Like, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. And so, guys I had was Corey Brown, Philly Brown, Devin Smith, and like Mike Thomas. Like right before I left, those are some of the guys I helped like come in and shit. After that, I was gone. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
It's crazy that he made you guys a part of the process of like, and I'm sure it's kind of works like that in every university. Like I can count on these guys to show them just a good enough time.
right. Yeah, and then
Not
have
get
them
them in
there,
trouble.
and then have like and then Trust to look at us like, yo, like we're having a meeting with the parents on Sunday. Make sure they're fun. You know what I mean?
They're
Make
together.
Sure, like make sure they are dressed.
And we done had some close calls before.
Where'd you
Drop
take
the
him?
kids.
Bullwinkle's? Was Bullwinkle's the place then? Was it bumping?
Nah, we was
getting bottle
Mint.
service.
We was
Yeah.
going to Mint. What else? What
Oh
was
yeah, I
some of
remember
the
that
other
club.
spots? Of course you do.
Sugar.
Sugar.
I was,
yeah.
I was older. I was the red zone. It was like,
Oh, red zone.
Big bar,
yeah.
little bar,
Yeah.
McFadden's.
All those places are gone now.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably a good thing. You know,
for sure. Now they got Panera down there.
To be able to get bottle service at age like 19 and 20. When we got to the league, you know, some guys are like, man, I ain't never been in clubs, stood on a cup. I'm like, man, this stuff is boring.
We done been there,
We've
done
been doing
that,
this stuff.
the whole nine.
Yeah, it was cool though, man. I love, and I actually like enjoyed that part about getting to know guys and bringing them and telling them what Ohio State is about. Because, man, I had some good hosts. You know what I mean, from my times there for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah. Kind of just, you know, obviously everybody knows our story about everything that happened with us with the Tattoo 5 Gate stuff and everything. And that shit was hard, you know. And I think some of us, well, I know we all kind of still deal with certain things just, you know, mentally, you know, and kind of just talk about, if you could do anything over, like change anything that you did, is there anything that you would have did different?
I think the only thing I would have did different, I would have sat out of the Sugar Bowl. And I know it sounds crazy, but because like it sounds crazy, but like we had an opportunity to kind of like shed light into what was kind of happening. Like, I mean, obviously now with the NIL, it was something, but what people don't realize about the tattoo case, like if you look at our NCAA ruling, like we got in trouble for name, image, and likeliness. Like we literally, like that's what's on the top of our dispositions. That we made money and we had the understanding that we could make money off of our name, our image, and our likeliness. And so when we set, like in the rule book, it says if you violate these rules, you have to sit out the next available competition. Well, the next available competition after the NCAA came down on us was we played in the Michigan game, and it was a couple weeks. The next available competition was the Sugar Bowl. But when they came down, they wanted us – they sped up the decision, right? They were like they just did it with haste. So we felt like, all right, cool, we'll sit out the Sugar Bowl. That means we're all coming back senior year. Well, I think we play like,
Well,
Boom was gonna leave. Boom was gonna leave, and then, but for other guys who were coming back, it was like, all right, well, we'll sit out the next 3 games. Like we'll be, we'll have 2 games, boom, and then we play Miami 3rd game in Miami. We might lose that, but we'll come back. We know the team can win with. We'll come back to a 1-loss schedule, and we can run the table and maybe go to the Rose Bowl or have a big season. And so,
the outlook wasn't too crazy.
It wasn't
initially.
Initially, because it was like we'll sit out 4 games and we'll make this bowl game. But it's like, nah. Y'all gonna play in the bowl game because people were pulling out of the bowl. Like, well, if the quarterback, the running back, the receiver, and the starting left tackle aren't playing, shit, I want my money back. I'm not going to New Orleans. Tress has already lost to this many, SEC teams. Like, it was like the SEC, like, oh, can he beat the SEC? Can you have the speed? Does Ohio State have the speed? So we're playing Ryan Mallett and this Arkansas team.
Yeah, that's right.
Really good.
Yeah.
And so everybody was like, we don't want our bowl packages. And so it was this thing where we were like having these weird ass meetings, like,
Yeah, because it's all about the money, DeVier.
no,
A million
obviously,
percent, yeah.
obviously, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was just like these were weird ass meetings because it was like they were unsure. Like the NCAA was unsure, and I remember Gene just being like, "Man, you guys should just sit." And we were upset with Gene because we didn't, like, obviously we want a ball, you know what I mean? But he was trying to put it in our mind like you can kind of set precedents here, and so. If I could change anything, I probably would have set that game and sort of just been like, yo, like, we ain't playing in y'all money game. But they made us play. And just like, God, he was just in there just just touching everybody. TP won MVP. Boom. We had 3 tutties.
2.
Boom had 2 tutties. I had
Yeah, y'all bald.
Yeah,
Oh, we went crazy.
Yeah.
We had a party. We had a party. We had a party.
Yeah, I had 121 for like a tutty and on 7 catches. Like everybody went. And then even like the 4th guy, unknown guy, Solomon Thomas, like
He got the game-winning pick.
Cam Hayward gets a cramp on the game, like final drive. Solly has to run on the field on 3rd and 5. Haycock sends like a shark blitz off the strong side. We drop the D in. So Mallett thinks he has the backside slant, for the hot read. Solly gets the pick. Game over. It's just like everybody who got in trouble, like, just touched that fucking, we just touched the game. And it was like, okay, now that y'all played the game, we're going to give y'all 5 games now. So it's like.
I think you would have had less if you would have sat it, or you think they would have gave you more because of the money?
Well, the rule was 4 games.
Okay.
And then we played in that game, so they gave us 5 games of the next year. And so we were like, oh, we're going to appeal this. And then obviously, like, that's when, everything happened. Everything came out with Tress, like opening up that can of worms.
Yeah.
And
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah. So it was, and I think about it is like, I'm not to say I'm not too emotionally attached to it anymore, but it's like, I went like, like I went through that shit. You
Hell
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that's the thing about suffering. Like you got to go through it to transcend it. And I think for me, like I've transcended it to a point where like when I look back, like, and I've said this before, like C.J. Stroud, Trevion, you know, Bijan Robinson, like their glory is like my pain and Boom's pain. So it's like, not to say like we're martyrs or anything like that or to that extreme level, but it's like what we went through, like people could see it was fucked up. And so now those guys are benefiting. But the only thing I don't like is that it's like, all right, here, we'll give you this. You know what I mean? Like, go, you can make money off your name, image, and likeliness. But the problem is it's, and that's the difference between the league and colleges, there's no profit sharing with the TV contracts. Yeah. Everybody sitting here knows that's where the fucking money is. It's the TV contracts. So it's like, but there's no union, there's no PA to be able to negotiate a percentage of the TV contracts to make sure like
They're going to try to get away with this part for as long as they can.
you feel what I'm saying? It's almost like,
100%.
like, oh, just go in the Wild Wild West. Oh, just fuck, like, oh, you got somebody want to give you free burgers? Go get fucking free burgers. You know what I'm saying?
It's
And
really
so,
peanuts compared to what's really
it's
out
really
there.
peanuts compared to what's happening. And then also, like, the landscape of college football was happening. These major conferences, obviously USC coming to Big Ten in the next 5-10 years. It's going to be a point where, like, the leagues are going to have TV deals.
Oh, yeah.
And so the players, the collegiate athletes, I hope we evolve to get that type of representation, because bottom line, like, I think on signing day, those fucking contracts need to be redlined. You know what I mean? Like that's the issue. Like, because you're signing over all of that shit. Like,
That's true.
You're filing under the 13th Amendment to be a collegiate athlete. So you're almost like you have the same rule, like in prison, like how they can create, you know, the rules or whatever and shit like that. Like the NCAA, you're governed under them. You know what I mean? Like you're not protected under the laws, but it's only to participate in their organization. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Well, think about it. Essentially, you're giving away your name and likeness
For sure.
to them.
For
I mean,
sure.
EA Sports sure is cashing
signed
in on
it?
that
Yeah.
shit.
yeah, you got to redline that shit, Corey.
Yeah, facts.
On
Think
signing
about
day.
it.
Yeah.
Think about all the money that the video game made.
Come on, man.
And they, you know, years later send us this little baby ass check for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like they made probably billions, you know what I'm saying? Like
We were hard on that game too. We was hard.
Yeah.
We was hard. Yeah, we were good. Yeah.
Yeah. So clearly we go through that whole suspension.
Yeah.
But then for a guy like yourself, obviously everybody's situation was a little different. You get suspended 9 games,
Yeah.
which was
10
crazy. 10. Sorry.
Yeah.
10 games. Just walk us through the process of just kind of like, you know, your first game back, bro. I was kind of explaining this to the guys. Your first game back was senior day, correct?
Yeah.
Against Penn State, and it was our last
Game.
home game.
Yeah. That was fucked.
Can you imagine that?
They got to win 11 games, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Can you
But you
imagine
got
that?
to experience that, no?
Yeah.
Your
The whole
senior
thing's
year,
fucked up.
Yeah.
Your senior year,
Yeah.
your first game playing is your last game in the shoe.
Were you able to watch the games like on the sidelines, DeVier, or were you not even allowed to be
I wasn't even allowed to.
around it at all?
Yeah, and because of my major, I needed an internship to graduate.
Okay.
And so Tress has set right before Tress got out, he had set me up an internship with Gordon Gee in the student union's office to where.
Shout out to President Gee.
Yeah, they looked out for me. And so he was doing this thing where, like, it's 44 counties in Ohio. He would go to 22 of them every summer. And, like, and so the internship, I was on this, like this board of, like, active students who would, like, plan events in these smaller counties in Ohio. And so that's what I did that summer. And then, but I love Coach Fickle because he kind of, like, me and him had a real talk. He was like, listen, like, I know your goals are to go to the league, but, like, I mean, you're here, you fucking graduate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was like, but when
Just
there-
how you talk too.
yeah. And he was like, but when there's when there's NFL coaches here, I'll text you, come to practice. And so
But you were able to practice still?
I was able to practice, but it
okay.
would be, I mean, Boom would tell you, it'd be some weeks I wouldn't even be at practice because I would just be doing the internship or whatever. But that's why I love Fit, because he'd be like, hey, yo, Packers here, who here? Like, pull up. And I was like, I go to the Woody and I'll be on scout team. I'll be fucking killing those dudes. You know what I mean? Like messing up the looks. But yeah, so that, I mean
that is right because I mean, obviously everybody knows I had 6 games, he got 10, but we were playing scout team the whole time, so we'd be torturing the starting defense.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
And they'd be mad.
Well, yeah.
Even the coach though, they're like, "That's not the look they're going to give us." I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
like
Trying to get your
reps.
reps.
hey, I'm trying to get my reps. I'm trying to get better.
you
Like,
see a dude over there in that Packers jacket. Like,
Yeah. Well, and I bet a lot
kill this
of
dude.
the Buckeye community don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
they
you know what I
don't.
mean? These are things they don't know that you guys
Yeah.
were, trying to keep yourself in shape because obviously you knew there was something there. But being gone for a week or two and pulling up on that shit is
bro,
it's still balling.
It going crazy, yeah, and then like what Boom was saying, like that first game back, it was obviously emotional because it's like you love the shoe, it's that to play ball in there. It's like it's like the Roman Coliseum or something of college football. It's just like shit is just erected out of the ground, like it's fucking a beautiful stadium. You know what I mean? Like it's just and so I mean, that year was obviously tough, and it was hard to leave this place because we and like the story we told you, we loved Ohio State. Like we were a part of like the showing off of the school for recruits. Like we would host guys. Like we would show people why you should come here.
You guys were some outcasts of like that class. You were heavily involved in promoting and helping the future of it.
Yeah.
But the media was making it look like something else essentially.
Yeah.
But it wasn't true.
yeah.
No, we had always loved and it was like, I mean, we were sorry. I mean, we didn't. But even
You guys are kids, man.
we were kids. I mean, and even the stuff we did it freshman year and got in trouble for it senior year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's some bullshit too.
Yeah, so it was just like, and I mean, obviously emotional at the time, but like, I think, things I would tell my sons, like I wouldn't sugarcoat anything to them. You know what I mean? I would let them know like these were the rules at the time. I mean, obviously they were bullshit, but
they were still the rules.
that they were the rules, and you still got to follow them because if you don't, you could be a leader or an influencer in so many different ways. You know what I mean? But like if you lead and you influence, make sure it's good influence. If you lead, make sure you inspire. You know what I'm saying? And we had a way to inspire through that by just standing on our 2 feet. And I was one of the conversations Tress had with me and Boom before he left. He said, "Listen, guys, you can't fuck up anymore. Like you know what I mean? Like this is your one fuck up. You gotta you can't get in the league and have a DUI. Like you know what I mean?
Like on the other side of this, y'all got to be choir boys.
Well, not even that. Like you just gotta what he said is like take the high road.
Yeah.
Take the high road no matter what. He's like the high road always pays, and you guys staying here and going through this, it'll come back to you. You know what I mean? And that's what we did, and it was good. I mean, we even had the same agent, coming out, and we had like training on what to say to GMs and shit like that, and like how to address this issue.
Yeah, because you got to think it was that was even a whole process. I mean, when you go to the combine, and then I mean that was gonna be one of my questions actually, but I mean we could just kind of tap into it now. But going to the combine, you look at the guy from Georgia who had the situation.
Jalen Carter,
We was basically obviously we ain't had no situation like that, but we were basically in the same shoes as him because it's like they asking us all these questions. So why'd you do this? Why did this happen? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it was it's still Ohio State. Everybody looked at Ohio State as like the school, one of the top schools. It's like why would you do that to put your school in that predicament? You know what I'm saying? Why should we draft you?
Yeah.
And you might possibly do something like that again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that was like a whole process
Under
as
that
well.
pressure and then have to perform on top of it, that whole.
Well, that's why I said the combine, like Benny said, the combine really is some bullshit because it's like you got to really go there and do all of this.
I think the thing that people see on TV is the bullshit, but the best part about the combine is what you don't see, like the meetings, like it's really like a big ass networking session.
Yeah, and that part is like he's saying, that part is great.
That's the most important part.
That's great. But at the same time, after you get done with all these meetings and they pulling on you, and then they want you to go out there and perform.
Yeah.
It's like some guys. I mean, he did great.
Yeah, I know. I went crazy. Well, I had to.
He went crazy.
I was good.
We talked about this.
Did you ball?
I fucking had to.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
he only
because you only play one game.
yeah, like it was like, you know, I mean, and that's the thing about me, like that, like not even trying to brag. Like when my back's against the wall, I'm the best DP. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that about myself.
Yeah.
Like if the pressure's on, like you wearing a marathon shirt. One of Nipsey's greatest hustle is like, you know, one of his greatest quotes I love is like, when you're close to where you're supposed to be, your dream, it's supposed to feel fucking hard.
Yeah, it's supposed to feel overwhelming.
It's supposed to
at times.
feel overwhelming,
Yeah.
and not knowing at the time, but like I handle that shit well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and I try to put that on my son and put that
It's
in
a
my
gamer
wife every day.
mentality, DeVier.
It
I
is,
try to tell
yeah.
my kids, like,
Yeah.
when Gregory's was showing up, like,
Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to do. Now, you might not go 10 out of 10 every time,
Yeah.
but if you go in with that mentality, you've prepared and you're there to beat,
Mm-hmm.
then, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, whatever, you're still going to be a winner. And like he said, it is going to be overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you have, worked hard enough to get through it, I want the lights on me, man. I want to see what I got.
Yeah.
I said, put me in.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
No,
sure.
combine was do or die for me. Like,
Yeah.
it was do or die. Yeah.
It's funny, man, because like you were saying, we had the same agent, and I remember, I don't know what the heck, how we got into the situation where we had to go to the airport and get that rental and drive from.
Oh, in the snow. Oh yeah, because we were doing with Kevin.
We had to drive. No, we had to drive. Remember, we had to go to the airport in Indy.
Yeah.
And get that. We got that 2-door. Was it like a Camaro or something?
Yeah.
You remember?
We drove home from Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
right.
had all. So when you go to the
Yeah.
combine,
Yeah.
obviously they give you
Oh, yeah, I
like
forgot. Yeah.
all types of stuff, all type of Nike gear, you got
Yeah.
all type of Adidas gear.
At the
Under
combine,
Armour.
that's where you
'Cause-
pick what shoe company you're going with.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
It happens at the
So you
combine.
got a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And we get this small little 2-door
I forgot about
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever, it's Camaro or whatever,
Yeah.
and we trying to put all our stuff.
It's like our
And
first
it's-
time renting a car. Too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it was just funny as heck.
I
Man.
forgot
just like
about
one of
that,
those
yeah.
memories that we had together, and it's like,
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't run well. You know what I'm saying? I did pretty much everything else well, but everybody knows like the 40 is like the most important thing at the combine, and I ran.
What'd you run?
Bad. I ran a 4.6 at the combine, which is horrible. You know what I'm saying?
What's your best?
So then when we
You're like
came
a
back to
4.4
pro,
guy, right?
Yeah,
then
boom,
pro day, I ended up running a 4.4.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
He
What'd
ended
you
up running
run?
what you run a 4.3 at,
437. Yeah.
at the combine.
Yeah.
So I'm over here, yeah, bro, you ran good, bro. hey,
He ain't want to talk to me.
On the way home, kind of like,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm on the
over
phone
here-
like,
Hey.
what is that?
Hey, like I'm happy for him, but I'm over here salty because I'm like, dang, I'm really just, you know what I'm
hey,
saying?
what was it? 4.6 what? Was it like just like the
4.69
and a half?
4.69.
It was low 4.6. Yeah, it was low 4.6, but we got it back at the pro day. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't
Pro
running
day's
pro
usually
day.
like what,
Yeah.
a couple weeks after or something?
Yeah, like
a
yeah,
month.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you have
yeah.
time to like get it
And,
together.
and it's more
more
relaxed,
relaxed, right?
I mean, you at the
Yeah.
house, not at the house, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's
know
the
what I
crib.
mean.
But
Yeah,
everybody's
crib.
there. That's at.
Oh yeah, everybody's
Ohio
there.
State.
Yeah. So it was definitely better for me for that. I'm gonna shoot it over to y'all because I'm sure y'all got some questions with her or whatnot.
Yeah. So obviously you played with 3 different quarterbacks at Ohio State. So you had Beckman, you had TP, and you had Braxton, right? Which one did you like the most, or even like which ones after that would you have loved to play with?
Oh man.
Oh yeah. I mean, hands down, like I'm gonna start with Braxton. Like, just exceptional athlete. Me and him got a connection. He was drafted to Houston in 3rd round too. I love B, but his time came before he wanted it to come. Like he wanted to come and like
He was basically forced into a
play.
situation
Yeah.
where he had to grow up fast.
He had to grow up fast,
You know
and
what
I
I'm saying?
think he obviously responded and had the career he had. He's an amazing athlete, hell of a player. His story's crazy. Todd Beckman. I mean, when you think about Todd, as a starter, he only lost 2 games. I'm gonna tell you, Illinois, Juice Williams, okay,
Juice is a dog.
and Rashard Mendenhall, that team.
Yep.
LSU, Glenn Dorsey, Matt Flynn. Todd Beckman has one of the best winning percentages in Ohio State history.
Damn, let him know.
Hold on real quick.
That was your first study too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read it online against
I don't mean to
Youngstown.
cut you off, but I was this is some I got to bring this back up because remember we were talking about some of the top quarterbacks. I think I had not necessarily stat wise, but I feel like around here, and people gonna probably call me crazy, but Todd Beckman probably gets a little bit more respect than C.J. Stroud.
For you?
Let me mention this the right way.
Hey,
I don't want this to go the wrong
What quote's
way.
about to hit Twitter right now?
No, I'm just saying
Just messing
because if you look at the record, far as he's 0-2 against.
He only has 2 losses in his starting career, like because he didn't start against USC. Terrell started.
So when I guess what I'm trying to say
Maybe
is
2 to 3. Yeah, I'll give him 3. He got three losses as a quarterback.
I look at the
I don't think
quarterbacks.
a lot of people know that.
I look at the quarterbacks
great
off
winning
of like obviously overall record, but then what did you do against Michigan?
Of course.
Yeah.
So I guess that's when I say obviously
He undefeated.
CJ is the man,
Yeah.
was the man. You know what I'm saying? But you look at Todd. You know what I'm saying? When
He
he was at
undefeated.
his peak,
He's undefeated versus Michigan.
he was a dog. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
and
Which is there's no really comparison. I mean, obviously,
Sounds like we need to have Todd Beckman's ass on the show.
Well, no,
Facts. Give him
and that's the
some
thing.
love.
But the thing, Todd does need to get love, and I.
That's
crazy
all
thing,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I ran into him on the streets of Montreal in like 2019 randomly. I was up there playing. He was up there for a work trip, but Todd was. I mean, dude was like 6'5",
I'd say
6'6",
he's big. Yeah.
225, 230.
But he was slanging that thing,
He
bro.
could throw. He can make any fucking throw he wanted. Calm, collective, great leader. Todd was a prototype quarterback, but I did TP last because hands down, I haven't played with an athlete in my whole career that's more athletic than Terrell. Like Terrell is the best athlete I've ever been around. Hooper, 6'6", 4'3", can throw that shit.
Absolute stud.
Like never saw him really open his stride up on the field.
He looked like he was jogging.
He be
bro.
jogging, like.
But he was faster than everybody else.
And the thing about TP, like I really believe, like he was the most talented player I played with at Ohio State. So for me, he's number 1. You know what I mean? And none against Boom, none against anybody else, but like it's easily TP. And I just think he missed that window that a lot of African-American quarterbacks are able to benefit. Because, I mean, before, like, his draft class was a supplemental draft. Like, Russell Wilson changed a lot for black quarterbacks in terms of Patty, Lamar, Deshaun, Jalen Hurts, those guys that are like 6'3" and under. Russell Wilson was the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl after Doug Williams. So it was a gap there. You know what I mean? And so Russ kind of changed that narrative. And I think TP just barely missed that cusp of like coaches wanting to like coach and like coach a young athletic guy up. I mean, and he was just
Because he can make all the throws too.
he could make all the throws and like even how they tried Lamar, like, move the receiver, like they said that to TP, and he's like, all right, fuck it. Then he did, and he went and made $20 million fucking dollars.
And played for way longer,
You know what I mean?
way longer than people realize.
Right, like so it's like
TV's now with Seattle. Now he's with the Redskins.
you know what I mean,
I'm
like, and it's just for somebody to make a move like that as a pro, and then also like to be successful and get paid playing a new position. I mean, hands down, like he's the easiest one. And the guys that I wish I could have played with I wish I could have played with CJ and Haskins. I think those two just pocket passers, like, I mean, fuck, man. They can throw
Sling
it. Oh, my God. Yeah.
just the offensive change too.
Yeah, I mean, we were in shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was blocking for this guy a lot. Like, fuck. Like, Boom had 16 touchdowns. I'm like, fuck. Like, we just running the ball.
They running the ball a lot
yeah,
more.
like
So-
y'all's
5
offense.
targets a game.
We was talking about this earlier too. Like you knew on first and second down, we
running
running
that
power.
bitch. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was just
Tressel
Tress.
was pretty
that was
camped
just
out
Tress
on that.
way.
Yeah.
That was just Tress way. So I always think like if DeVier could have played in Urban's offense or Ryan Day's offense,
Or
like
Joey Burrow slinging it.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? like what that
Do
would
one
have
more
been
time.
like. You know what I'm saying?
Corey,
but
look.
but it's crazy because
I'm going out there with fucking 4, like, bro, I would get like 4 to 6 targets a
Yeah, I
game.
know.
And it's like, oh.
I was at most of the games.
So it's like, oh, you drop one. Oh, fuck, this guy's a drop problem. Like, fucking Marvin Harrison is coming out with like 15, 14 targets a game.
Yeah.
A lot. These dudes are getting like, you forget, like, oh,
It's
fuck.
different.
Man, these dudes are getting 10 plus targets a game. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, we're not
yeah.
in that. Like, and we didn't have like a turbo offense. We just had pro 2-minute. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have like a speedy
It's crazy. Like
offense at all.
you would have like for instance, you would have like 2, maybe 3 guys that are stand out with the whole offense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like your running back, he's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? For instance, you know, you might have one receiver that's, you know, oh, he's the guy. But it's like in Ryan Day and when Urban is like, you had multiple guys. It's
Multiple
like,
people touching.
you know what I'm saying? You think about it like 2 running backs, you know what I'm saying, 3 receivers, even the tight ends was, you know what
Yeah,
I'm
got
saying?
the gadget guy, the reverse guy, the bubble screen guy. Like, we didn't.
So
we didn't
like
have
it's
any
like
of that.
we came up in a totally, you know, different time.
Yeah, football has definitely evolved. You know, I would definitely say that the offensive schemes have evolved.
For sure. Next.
So I'm curious, like, when you were in the locker room, like, who was one player that you were around that you were like, I want to gravitate towards this player? Like, this player, he's just like a fucking about it, and I want to like kind of like emulate that.
Well, one guy I played with that I have the ultimate respect for, ultimate work ethic, just a straight fucking dog, and boom, going second this, is Dane Sanzenbacher. You walk in here, fucking dude. I mean, he's working at a bank now, but when he played in college, he looked like he worked at a bank.
I was going to say, that's
You
like
know?
the vibe he had,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But this dude, like, the heart of a fucking giant, like, trained his ass off.
That's cool.
We would leave and go get food, drive back past the Woody. Dane is still there. See his Jeep out there. Just like, and you know, like, when you're in a battle with guys, like I love a lot of my teammates, right? But like when you're in battle and like you look, you know, and you see somebody's eyes, and that motherfucker's like, let's fucking go. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's like I told you, you know, like that's Dane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it was because of his work ethic and quiet. You know, wouldn't say anything.
Quiet killer.
And so like I would always just gravitate towards like, you know, like his level of seriousness always took my, because I'm like football was always just fun to me.
Yeah.
Like it just came naturally, not easy, but it was like basketball was harder on me mentally than football was. But Dane like always took like my level of seriousness, my level of focus.
Consistency sounds like it was there.
He was the guy that like, he was like my rudder as far as like, you know, he would just be just like, he right here all the time. You know what I mean? So third, you know, long drive, boom, we coming down, you know, we all sitting there. I'm like, boom, come on, let's go. Let's get it started with this drive. And we got to drive 98, you know, let's go put one in. And fucking Dane, like, let's fucking go. You know what I mean? I would gravitate towards his level of focus in the locker room.
What about in the pros?
In the pros? Shit, for me, I had a great relationship with Arian Foster when I was in Houston. Boom knows this. Like I would train with him.
Yeah, the
when I was-
Congo boys used to help him out.
Yeah, the Congos.
they
Yeah.
like
I
him,
know.
yeah.
I know those. I trained with those
that's
guys,
right.
and his brother, and I like the way he trained. I like the way he would protect his body on the field, and just like how he kept his stride, and
It was a dog. For
he was
sure.
a dog. Yeah, like
He put together some great years down
Oh
there.
yeah.
yeah, man, and his mentality, and so I really liked him.
That's cool. C-level.
Yeah.
I like to ask each guest this. So obviously all the Buckeyes, so I'll say like horseshoe aside, what were your top 3 favorite college venues that you ever played in? Bowl game, regular season. What's the top 3?
College, State College, Penn State, and
Is it loud there? Because it looks loud.
my number one. That's number 2. So I'm gonna go. I go least favorite. Here we go. Number 3 is where did I like? Probably the Big House. The Big House is cool. It was
Shit whack, bruh.
it was quiet. The thing, just because it was quiet in there. It was like
that shit is whack.
it's quiet
like-
in there. You know what I mean? Like it's
Clip
not
that one, Kyle.
But
Yeah.
it's It's absolutely a huge, beautiful stadium.
I'm just saying, they talk about, we got all these fans and all these. Nah,
It's quiet. Yeah.
It don't be loud. Like,
yeah. To go
the
in
energy there is
yeah.
just, to
go in there and silence them. Big house. Number 2, State College. It's crazy. The whiteout that.
Yeah, it looks dope on TV.
Penn State. Like that shit live. But Camp Randall is a wild motherfucker.
Which is Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Camp
Yeah,
Randall's
people
big.
keep
Yeah,
bringing that up.
fucking
Did
go
he say that too?
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Camp
We need to go to
Randall.
Wisconsin.
I need to go there because I went to Penn State this past year.
Yeah.
And while I was at
Camp
Penn
Randall.
State, everyone kept saying this is way better than the horseshoe. I'm like, there's no fucking way.
No.
Penn
Bitch.
State's kind of like wider, and I guess
Yeah.
they can technically hold more. But the
That's how the big
horseshoe
house is, too.
it
It's real
feels
far
like
away.
you like you got 110 on top of you.
Yeah. And I like Penn State because it's grass. I like playing on grass.
Yeah.
Like I like grass. But Camp Randall, like, fuck. I remember time lining up and fucking visor is visor shaking. Yeah, that place is. And then like it's like a crown field.
Okay.
So like you can be on the sideline and you can't see below the other team's knees. It's weird as.
That is weird.
It's weird. I guess it's because like the way they built it. But Camp Randall is a wild place.
So Luke's going to turn up there, ain't he?
Oh man. Oh shit.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
that's about to be lit.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Sound like we need to go up there.
Yeah, he gonna get those like Chicago, Milwaukee dudes. He gonna pluck some Ohio dudes. He gonna pluck some Detroit dudes. He gonna recruit the Midwest. Like he because he has like now he actually has something.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be like whenever we knew we was about to play Wisconsin, you better strap your shit up and put your big boy shoes on because you already knew it's gonna be a dog fight from start
honestly
to
say
finish.
that was our rival during our time. We didn't really
They
have
were
a
really good
Michigan-
then,
Yeah, we didn't have a Michigan rival. Like fucking Wisconsin with like fuck, man.
I'm trying to think who was the running back then.
John
They
Clay.
had PJ Hill, they had John Clay,
James White.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
they
had
had them
string of
dogs.
guys that was coming through there.
Yeah,
JJ Watt, when
Yeah.
he got paid on our ass too. Shit, like, JJ got paid.
He sure did.
Yeah, hey, went first round off our game. Shit. Yeah.
I already know you got a lot.
Troway.
Yeah. So you talked about coming up with your brother, which was, he's a OU legend.
Yeah.
He chose the right school, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He wasn't- Shout out to Julian. But you got to play with him in 2010, and there's 2 things I remember about that game. One, Rufus punched Brutus before
Yeah,
the game.
it got a brawl.
amazing.
Yeah.
Which was kind of dope. And then 2, like you got to play against your brother, and there's like a picture of your mom where she's got the split jersey, the OU and the Ohio State. So what was it like? You're a year younger than your brother.
2 years in school, but yeah, he got redshirted, so it ended up being 1 year in college. But yeah, it was. I mean, my brother is like we pushed each other to get to the level of like getting scholarships and stuff. I mean, and like me and him have like a crazy dynamic. Boom knows, like it's like we are so competitive, but we love each other so much, and we want each other to do good. And when he chose Ohio University, I always respect him for this. He didn't get offers until senior year, but Coach Leitner was the first to come in and offer him. And then after senior year, Cincinnati, Arizona State, Michigan State, Illinois, bigger schools came in, but just out of his loyalty and just his respect for Coach Burrow and Coach Solich, he picked OU. And I mean, when it comes to the MAC, like I'm a Bobcat, you know what I mean? Like I would go when you guys play on Tuesday or Thursday nights. I would leave practice and boom knows I would drive and watch you guys in the stadium. I love Athens. It's a great town, and I'm so happy. My brother battled adversity. He broke his foot, like had a compound fracture, and made it all the way back. Was an undrafted free agent. Made it on the Jets. He got like 3 or 4 years in the league. Like an improbable kind of story, and just the conversations we have about like all right, what we're doing here, like how do we get better each year, like our times in the summer, our one-on-ones, like we never filmed them or anything like that. We'll probably always end in like fighting or swinging on each other.
So good.
Yeah, but it's like we knew at a young age that like like I always felt like he's more athletic than me. Like he's 6 foot. Like I've never like he's like 4% body fat still to this day. Like
all
fucking
ripped up.
Ripped. Like eats well. Like he's always been like he has a 40-inch vertical, can like still going like and fucking go under his legs and dunk. Like I can't do that shit. Like I'm just big and like long, and like he's pause. But he's like he's like an athletic dude, man, and just so. When I was growing up, like I always felt like, if I compete with him, I compete with anybody in my class and older than me, and so that always helped me. And that game, that OU game, it was awesome because he actually returned a kick on us.
He sure did.
Oh, he
They
did?
called it back.
They called it back. And this motherfucker, I was on the sideline like, no, you didn't. I'm like, this motherfucker, I've gone to his games. He's never fucking kick returned before.
Right.
And he took one all the way back.
He took
The
one back.
opening kickoff.
Yep.
Was you like you kind of want to cheer, but you ain't allowed to cheer?
Well, no, you know what I thought?
You're like,
Because we're so competitive, I'm like,
Yeah.
I know you didn't score before me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In my house.
In my crib. I'm like, what? But I was happy for him. But then obviously it got called back. But it was just one of those things where it was like super, it's just, crazy to like,
that's your bro.
to see my brother, you know what I mean, across from an experience I'll never forget, man. It was that
It's
shit
so
was
unique
awesome,
and it probably hasn't only happened a few times
Few
in the
times.
history of the league, bro. That's
well, for us
awesome.
to like guard each other, like he was guarding me all game.
Yeah.
Like,
That's sick.
yeah, it was crazy.
Which
Yeah.
you led the game in receiving, by the way. So
I did,
give
yeah.
you your shout out
I
there.
should have scored that game. I did, and I got this picture. He hates it, but like I have this picture. Like I caught this hitch, and I stiff armed him, and it's like a nasty one. Like, when I tell you, if he sees this, he's gonna be like, "Fuck you for bringing it up."
Yeah.
Like, he hates that picture, but it's blown up in my basement. So it's
that's
like,
amazing.
And I just do it to troll him for life.
Yeah.
But he scored though. I didn't get to score that game, but yeah, it was awesome.
That's
man.
amazing.
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I want to talk about your time in the CFL. Obviously,
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Grey Cup MVP. But I'm just curious, like, I was down in Florida. There was this he was an Italian-Canadian dude, right? He loved the Montreal Alouettes. But he was breaking down to me the game of the CFL, how, like, the field's totally different. There's 12 players on the field. So, like, was that a hard process to pick up that game?
I think it helped me because I had like 3 transitions. I had NFL to the CFL. Then I was up there for a year. We won, and then I went from CFL back to the NFL, and then from the NFL back to the CFL. So it was almost like I got to study those playbooks in back-to-back years, so you can really like see the difference. Like you're saying, the dimensions of the field, they're wider. There's 2 50-yard lines. There's a center line, and then there's 20-yard end zones. So it's like, and then you obviously have the waggle, like the motion before the play.
Yeah, them boys be running in
I
the
know.
CFL.
Yeah, Boom
Shame
came
up
to
there,
a lot
boy.
of games. Yeah, Boom came to a game every year, and I respect him for that. That's my dog. Pulled up, and so like in the cardio, like I weighed less when I was up there than I was in the league because it's like you're running more, and then it's 3 downs. So first down you run it, it's second and long, like you're passing it, So I think that's different. And then like so what that 12th guy is normally like a running back / wide receiver kind of guy. And then it's over, and then like the DB is like an undersized linebacker, but too slow to be a safety. Mm-hmm. And so like that's that 12th guy. He's normally in the middle of the field. But the thing I do love is like the time, like the end of the game, right? In the NFL, like you saw in the Super Bowl, like you can end the game with the ball in your hands for 4 minutes. The CFL game has to end on an offensive play. You get what I'm saying? So it's like 2-minute drill, you can walk back because they stop the clock after each play. Although you're in 2-minute, but you know what I mean? So it's like it's called a 53-plus league. So like it's 53 minutes, and then at the last 3 minutes, it could be like each team can get 3 possessions.
Oh shit, that one.
You know what I mean?
That.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like it's a lot more. Like you could close a 20.
Did you like that?
I loved it.
Okay.
Because you could close a 14-point gap
In 3 minutes.
in 3 minutes. Well, in 1 minute, you could big, boom, boom, boom. Special teams, they get the ball,
Yeah.
2 and out. You got the ball right again. You know what I mean? It's only fucking 50 seconds went off the clock. So I like that. And then obviously I think there's more that goes into a play. But if I say the one difference from a receiver standpoint is because of the field, like in the NFL, you get like catch, bang plays. Like you catch it and boom, the DB's right on you. in the CFL, like, because it's so much space, like, you can catch it and, like, turn and do a move. Like, it's not as, like, the windows aren't as tight, if you get what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not as much running, so, boom. You know, we ain't got to watch him fucking carry the ball. So I ain't got to deal with blocking for his ass. You know, we throwing the ball. So, so
I got a
more
quick
target.
story.
Yeah.
A lot of people may not know, but I had the opportunity to sign with the same team.
You should have came.
And I was calling DP. It was
Toronto, yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah, in 2016.
The year that they won the Grey Cup.
Yep.
They offered me a contract.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm calling him like, man, so what you think I should do, bro? Like, should I take it? Should I come play? Like, then I was like, you know, obviously the money is very different.
It's different.
Way different.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, is it worth it? And originally, I mean, obviously, you know, I didn't take it. I was just ready to. I was kind of just over.
You were done.
I was done.
Yeah,
you know,
you knew it.
Mentally, physically, I was just done.
Yeah, we had
but
some crazy
after
talks.
they won that thing, I was like, dang.
Chip real quick.
I should have got me a little. I should have got me a little great. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
I usually watch the Grey Cup every year. Like, I enjoy watching the CFL.
Yeah.
And you missed out on Toronto, bottom line.
Toronto's cool,
It's a
too.
great town.
Oh, great time.
Great town, man. We could have a ball up there.
It's probably there's
Yeah.
no pretty girls there.
No.
So
Yeah.
Don't go there. Yeah. It's cold. Yeah.
Nothing good.
Nothing good.
nothing to see.
Nothing to see.
Trevon.
So like obviously sports were like a huge part of your life all growing up. So like once you were done like with football and you knew like that this was over, like what was kind of like that transition like to then like kind of like what you wanted to do next in life, like whether it was like business or like where you kind of like wanted to move your passion onto?
Man, it was a celebration, honestly. I think what you put yourself through mentally, physically in football, and that's what, like, you know, like all these parents, they pushing their kids to play sports. Is like, just know what you're signing them up for. It's a cutthroat, boring, monotonous life to be a professional athlete. And outside of game days, you know, like that's what you're signing up for, is like you got to fall in love with that process. And I think that process for me was like it was on, and like boom, I tell you, like you put on that music, you know, Corey, like like days you don't want to fucking go do them lunges. You're like, it's it's like a spiritual, like physical pull that you have to go through. And I think I was happy that I didn't have to like go through that anymore. And I mean, sometimes I miss it. You know what I mean? I miss the connection of like just turning the mind off and like controlling your body or whatever, like that autopilot mode where you just like, and then like you find out a lot about yourself, like, yo, like I'm a fucking dog. Like I could beast through anything, you know what I mean? And so I miss that physical, you know, and then also it would be times like, I mean, I'm a nice guy, but like I tell Boom, like, yo, I'm about to choke slam one of these DBs today. You know what I mean? Like, just like, you just fucking like, just
Well, you
grab
have an
somebody,
environment where you can be like
just
that.
fuck somebody up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Well,
like, yeah.
yeah.
And I miss that, you know, don't get me wrong. Like, I miss the smoke, but I'm happy I don't gotta like go through the pain anymore. And I think for me, like,
I'm sure you're still dealing with.
yeah, but it's, you can use all of that shit, you know, like that, like, you know, preparation, like how you study a playbook, you can study a business plan that way, perfect it, how you like can push through hard times, you know, stressful times. You can apply that to business, you can apply that to your goals or whatever you're trying to do next. And so like I take like all the intangibles I learned, but I don't miss the physical side of it. And you know, but you know, I still get it out. You know, I play in an adult league, basketball league and shit. You know, I start fighting. Yeah,
real quick also, so you won track, like
Yeah.
state your senior year of high school, right? What
Yep.
did you run?
The 400.
400. What did you run in the 400?
47.3.
Damn. I ran a 48.7, but yeah. That's,
Yeah.
So Trey, he's faster than you.
No, I'm not. Trey can probably get me right now. I'm pushing like 30 over my playing weight right now.
Trayvon did just deadlift like 550 about a week ago. So
Oh yeah, he's in shape. Yeah. Nah. Yeah, when I dapped all of y'all up, I was like, yeah, they working out.
Man, right?
we about it.
Everybody got that strong dap here.
4
That
a.m.
max
crew.
effort dap.
That's
Like,
4 a.m.
Yeah, shout out to Max Effort. Max Effort Dap.
4 a.m.
yeah, I know.
Corey had me for a while. He can't
Did.
get me here now.
Yeah,
I know 4 a.m.
I'm trying to get him to come down the night before and then get up in the morning and train. We just got to make sure he's still awake by the time we record.
I respect it though. Y'all get like 3-hour workout in.
I usually leave here between 5:30 and 6.
Okay.
So yeah, we start right at 4.
Yeah.
Then usually go lunge or do condition after that. But like you said, man, like I just fell in love. I think probably like I started coming. I think we started doing 5 a.m. like 2000. I'm sorry, probably like a little over a decade ago, or like between 4 and 5. And then it was a hard 4 about 8 years ago.
I was gonna ask what made y'all go from, because it used to be 5.
Yeah, it was 5 for a long time.
What made y'all go from 5 to 4?
Here's what's
And
interesting.
will there be a 3?
No, we get up in the 3s though, which is the damn near middle of the night, bro.
I'm just asking. You know.
So here's the thing about that. What happened was, what I realized is that still, even starting at 5, guys had a hard time getting to work sometimes, because the guys come from all over the city that are in our crew, right? And when it went to 4, 2 things happened. One, it weeds out all the people that ain't fucking serious, because you're about it if you're getting up in the 3s, bro.
Well, you got to
That means
really.
you can't be in the bar. You got to be living the lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of it, you ain't really rushed. Like, you can get to where you need to get to in the city. And so it allowed guys to get better, to compete, because that's our power of the team essentially, right? And it allowed, for me to like weed out the people who ain't about it. And I fell in love with that process, because if I was trying to balance competing, being a dad, running these businesses, I need that uninterrupted time. And for me to have that mentality that you guys have both talked about multiple times for this long a period of time, it's necessary for me.
Yeah.
And I think because I had like anger problems growing up and all that stuff, like being, trying to like get out of my whole situation. Like, I need all that and be under the bar and push just to be half normal, I think. So that's my washing machine I got to go through every day, including the personal development, all of that whole system. And I fell in love with the way that I feel.
Yeah.
That's really what it came down to.
Yeah.
And then the results have yielded themselves, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
I
cool.
respect it.
Yeah.
No, like it's like it's spiritual.
It is spiritual.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
It's spiritual. Yeah.
I'm sure we could definitely really lock back in. It's just something that you got to really want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
get up. My wife will tell you this all the time. Like, one time she was still up watching TV.
Yeah.
When I was getting up,
Mm.
and she like turned off the TV because she knew my alarm was about to go off. She was like this. Hey, because she felt bad because I was starting the next day. She was still up. She goes, I saw your ass like jump out of bed. I'm like, well, it's deadlift day.
Yeah.
Like, like I'm still feel that way. Now there could be a day, like Boom said in 16 when he was about that, maybe I don't feel like that.
Yeah.
It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. No, and I'm a workout. I'm a morning guy. If I don't get it in the morning, I'm not doing it.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, like, cause you got so much stuff to do. Like I might call. We talk in the morning. I might call him. Hey, I'm like, call me back. But you respect that time. Like, it's like he got so he can be the dad and the businessman and stuff like that. And so like I respect you guys for getting that time, man. But I go at 7.
Yeah, still early.
Yeah.
It's still early. Our shit is like, it's still early.
I just feel like it all depends where you are in life. Some people's schedules and time is just different. And once you lock into that mode, it's a mode. You know what I'm saying? Once you get in that mode, you know what I'm saying, and you get your schedule, it all kind of works out for itself.
Go back to sea level.
So your time as a Buckeye, obviously, once you make it there, similar to what Beanie was saying last week, like most of y'all are D1 at that point. So you're there, you got that respect. But what's one team on top of that in one game that you'll never forget just because they were men and they made you feel their presence during that game?
Sophomore year, USC. I'm gonna just run some names down. Brian Cushing, Clay Matthews, Mark Sanchez, Ronald Johnson, Stephon Johnson, again, C.J. Gable, Taylor Mays.
That was your freshman year.
That was that
was my
sophomore year.
Taylor
I'm sorry.
Mays was huge, bro. I remember thinking like, I want to look like this.
Yeah, that was my freshman year.
I'm trying to look like Taylor Mays up here.
So you talking about when we went to SC?
when we went to USC, I'm on the sideline like.
Remember I told you about that?
Yeah.
I'm like, that team was so good. Like, and so it was so crazy. They were so hyped for our game. They beat the dog shit out of us. And then and y'all should have asked Beanie if his toe was really hurt because we needed Beanie in that game. Y'all got to ask Beanie. Beanie missed that game. He had an ingrown toenail.
No, he
like
had a turf. Remember he had got turf toes.
Beanie.
Hey, that's a big dude. If his toe hurts, I don't know. What you gonna do?
That's a big dude.
It's a big
We
dude.
needed Beanie in that game. And so, like, the next week they played Oregon State. Jaquez Rogers went crazy. The Rogers brothers went crazy. But I still said that team would have beat Florida if they didn't lose that one game. I really
That team was crazy.
That team would have
Yeah.
beat
That
and that was a
team
team
was
that
insane.
That was like the major right. Like that was like when they played Oklahoma. Sam Bradford got absolutely destroyed.
Annihilated.
USC that year was, if not just as good, if not better than Florida.
But you knew the level of competition was like, oh, this is the top.
It was so many pros in that game.
Yeah.
Tell them about the venue, the experience, like
Denzel, we're in the game.
Denzel
We
Washington.
mid drop. Denzel walking. I'm like, oh, that's Denzel.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, Greg Oden. We came out of halftime. Greg Oden was sitting Indian style, playing with some grass, sitting there chilling. Like, I'm like, damn, that's Greg Oden just chilling on the field. Snoop Dogg. It was just so
And
many.
then don't look in the
celebrities.
stands.
Man, it was crazy. Man.
Why
no
your,
girls,
why
you
your
know.
mom up there?
that team was a group of men. That game was crazy. Yeah.
Hey, so speaking of Brian Cushing, I got all these documents at my house that I'm using to start my fires, right? Because it's been cold. I find an email from Brian Cushing about his diet.
Wow.
Literally, that he had emailed me and like, dude, this was like 2011 or 12,
Dude,
right when he came out.
Yeah.
His attention to detail was unlike any athlete I had ever met. I should have kept it. I ended up burning it to get my fire started, but but it was like
Don't be cold, baby.
yeah,
Don't be
but
cold.
it was impressive.
No, for real. Like, well, I was with him at the Texans,
Yep.
and I tore my Achilles. He tore his knee that same year, so we rehabbed together. And like, I just saw like every day, like, dude comes in with a cooler.
Yeah,
like his meals, like he's like
he didn't miss his supplements, meals, nothing.
he's like, oh fuck, I gotta do like he on the table eating his fucking meals in his Tupperware, and he didn't miss a day. Nothing, his drinks, his electrolytes, all this shit. Like, dude was
he's real.
he was about it.
Them
yeah.
all those USC guys.
Yeah.
They were like that though.
He was about it, bro. I gotta give Cushy, and I learned a lot about taking care of my body from him and diet, and like it was, like he was, like where everybody is now with like meal prep and supplements.
Yeah, he was on that.
A decade ago.
Bro, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
this email looked like it was sent from a guy that had been competing in bodybuilding for like 20 years. And he was like a kid still. It was impressive.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
real impressive.
Yeah,
What was the second part of your question, Tom? Did he answer it?
Yeah, no,
we
that,
get
that
it?
covered.
Okay.
That covered. Yeah, it was a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, Tread.
No problem.
Yeah, so you're a hooper, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you said
Treadway
you,
thinks he's a hooper too.
Corey and I are for real hoopers. We could play one-on-one later, but that's irrelevant. So
Don't let him do.
I got a game tonight.
Please play him.
you're in high school, right? And you say you think that you're going to go hoop. Like, what kind of offers were you getting? And then was there a time where you thought you were going to go hoop instead of play at Ohio State? And what switched that when Ohio State came in the room and offered you?
Well, yeah, because I had a good AAU off season. Like, it was awesome. Coach Purnell, he was in Clemson. He gave me an offer. South Carolina. We were playing in like Eastern Tennessee for a national, and so it was a lot of down south schools. And then Coach Bowles, who's actually at Ohio,
He was at Ohio State.
he was at Akron before he got to Ohio State, and he shot me an offer before he got to Ohio State. And so when he got to Ohio State, he was like, "You don't remember our career?" I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, coach." And he would invite me to open gym. And but the thing with like football players that hooped in high school and football players, who go on to play football, and then like hoopers who hooped in high school and hoop in college, like there's a level of like professionalism that like just separates like high level D1 guys. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you start lifting for basketball and start training, like you get a college schedule for hoop, your game goes to a whole nother level. Like my game never like really left like my high school level. You know what I mean? So it's like, but
Same.
Same.
right.
Like middle school, like my game's still stuck there.
Yeah, but to think about it, like my game and for football, who I was in high school wasn't damn near who I was leaving for the league. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's just you can see that with hoop, and I think a lot of football players forget that. Like like this is what these boys do. Like they dedicated their life to these squeaky shoes and that ball bouncing in the in the gym by yourself. Like we chose that, and I think for me it was all about shit. Who was the biggest school? You know what I'm saying? Like where's my best opportunity to get out of this situation in Cincy? And so when Ohio State comes knocking, like I didn't really understand. I had a friend at the time who was a huge Ohio State fan. We shared lockers in high school, Elliot Hebler, and he was like, "Are you going to Ohio State, right?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't know." You know what I mean? Like I loved Oklahoma at the time. Like I don't know why I liked Oklahoma. Maybe it's because like Adrian Peterson.
I was just gonna say AP was
AP.
he should have won the Heisman as a
I
freshman.
think we all.
like I had a love for like Oklahoma.
I was the same way.
And
it was
so-
definitely because of AP though.
Yeah.
And so Coach Sumlin, he was a coach at Houston, and then he went to A&M. He was a receiver coach at Oklahoma at the time. He called me and was like, "Yo, this Coach Sumlin from OU," and I'm like I knew all the coaches from Ohio University.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I've met you. He was like, "No, bro, Oklahoma University." I'm like, "Oh shit!" So I handed the phone to my mom because I was already committed, and it was kind of crazy because I still was going to those camps. The offers were coming in even after I committed, and so I didn't get buyer's remorse with Ohio State, but like I just felt like I gotta go here. You know what I mean? Like when I really started looking and researching, and my boy was like, Chris Carter went there. Santonio Holmes went there. I knew only guy I really knew was Ted Ginn. You know what I mean? And then obviously when I would go to games, I could pinpoint number 80 and number 9. Hartline and Brabisky. Like, oh, those guys are nice. You know what I mean? But like I didn't know about the history of like Malcolm Jenkins, Joey Galloway, Terry Glenn, David Boston.
Straight dog.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it ran deep, and so like I kind of was like, yo, like I want to be the next one of those guys. And so when I really understood about Ohio State's receiver like pedigree, I was like, yo, I want to be a part of that. So that was really the deciding factor to stay with O State and play football. Dude, they had some dudes, man.
For sure.
I know
lineage is
you
crazy.
got hooked with the running back pedigree for sure.
You fall in love with that just opportunity to be named with those guys.
Yeah, like I said, you start walking through those hallways and you seeing all these greats. I mean, yeah, we got the running back that only won the Heisman twice.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like that right there is like, damn, just to even get one, is great. But then, like you say, and then once you get the opportunity to meet some of these guys and get to know them, like you think about KB, man, Keith Byers.
Man.
Oh,
one of the
God.
coolest, laid back.
bro, he had a
Absolute
great
legend.
pro career too.
Absolute legend.
Great pro.
And I think a lot of people don't really know how good of a pro career he had.
My dad
how
was
many
my dad was an
years he
Eagles
played.
fan growing up.
Yeah.
So I used to be forced to watch a lot of Eagles
Yeah.
games, and
Yeah.
Keith Byers was the man.
Yeah, I think
was.
KB
Yeah.
played 12 years?
Yeah, it was over 10 for sure.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Especially back in the day when they was banging.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They was,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say he had the leather helmets, but
Yeah, no.
But
they
yeah,
had the helmets that
He was a vet.
wasn't.
He's a
for
vet's
sure.
vet.
You know?
He's a vet's vet. Like
Yeah.
he's a for sure vet. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good. Cole, you got anything else?
No, I'm straight.
Good. Boom Squad.
Yeah,
Great
it was great.
questions. Hell yeah.
Yeah. appreciate
we
you.
good,
We
man.
good.
Actually, yeah.
We appreciate you, man. We probably could do a part 2, man, because we have so
man, I
much
love
more
it.
that
Yeah.
we can cover. But I think we've been running for a while already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we thank you, and we'll probably have you back though, man.
Man, I want to say thanks, man. Corey, thanks, man. I appreciate the platform. Ultimate respect for Mac's effort and
Appreciate it,
Jim
man.
and what you guys been able to do over years. And thanks, Boom Squad, for having me. Awesome questions. Like I always get humbled, by doing stuff like this, because you going through your stuff and you never really realize how many people you affect. And I just want to say thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Man, it was a blessing to have you here today.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
Where can
thank
everybody find you at socially?
Oh, at DPO8 on Twitter, and then at DPosey_ on Instagram.
Yeah, shoot a follow to my guy.
Last thing, because I always try to, I'm gonna do this probably every week with every guy, but I like to check on guys with their mental.
Yeah.
Because we put our bodies through a lot, we put our minds, our brains through a lot. How are you doing mentally?
I think I'm doing the best I have in a very long time, and I think that's due in part to my morning routine.
Yeah.
Just that quiet time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like that's what it is.
It's sacred. So I think when I can get up and read and do my manifestation and my visualizations, like I really feel like I have more energy, and then also just being conscious of I would give football so much patience and just let things develop and give it so much time that now like my awareness and focus is key on like my wife and my sons and my family and also my businesses. But it's like my awareness of giving them everything and all of my patience and the best sides of me is what I'm trying to stay conscious on. And so now that I'm doing that every day, I feel like it really helps me feel like I'm whole mentally because I'm like focusing on giving them my best self.
I don't know you that well, but you can feel that on you, DeVier, when you walked in today. That when you said a couple things, I've been good on this stuff and that, like you can feel that what you just explained.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I just want the people to see more athletes, showing, like it's okay to get help, you know what I'm saying? Because we're always taught to be, tough, strong and all the time. But, if it's people out there that really need to, get the help and just do what they need to do for that. So I'm glad that you're doing well. And like I said, I'm glad that you came and you spent some time with us. And
thanks for having me.
We're going to definitely have you again. And
Take us
That's
out.
good.
take us out.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Pull up the intro.
It was a great show.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
Here, I can't find it, so we'll just close it out. This
Close
has
it
been the Boomcast with your host, NFL vet, Buckeye legend Daniel Herron. Accompanied by the Boom Squad, we got former coal miner, pro in the fitness industry, Corey Gregory, Todd Sports Zone, Mr. Charlie Treadway, Mr. Charlie Sea Lover, then the Doghouse. I'm the graphic gangster, Cole Susak, the king of Web3, Trayvon the Air. Special guest, DeVier Posey, Buckeye legend. Follow us at the Boomcast. Please share this with your friends. I think we've been getting a lot of ratings. Kyle's been running polls on Spotify, which is really cool. Didn't know about that. But, yeah, so, share it out.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.